Welcome to the Parkland Report. I'm Stephanie Stewart, Vice President for Strategic Partnerships and Workforce Innovation here at Parkland College. And this is the show where we talk to people making things happen here at Parkland. Today I've got two guests, one from the Harold and Jean Miner Theater at Parkland College, and the second from Parkland College Television, which you're watching right now. But first, welcome to the show, HeatherAnn Layman. She is our operations assistant for Parkland Presents.
Yes, hi, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming onto the show. Now, Parkland Presents, can you explain to our viewers what that encompasses?
Sure, so Parkland Presents is it encompasses a lot of the outward-facing, like public engaging entities we have here on campus. So that's the planetarium, that's the theater, that can be the music, Gertz Gallery, the TV station, the radio station, and Perimeter Road.
Excellent. Yeah. But today we're talking about theater.
Yes.
And so the Harold and Jean Miner Theater, talk, I guess, in general terms about what a season at Parkland looks like from a theater perspective.
Sure. So we are up to about 6 shows a season now. And so that is 4 main stage productions and then 2 student productions. Okay. And so, yes, we just closed our first main stage production, Macbeth. That was in the Black Box Theater. And then we will be coming up on what we're calling a creature double feature, which is going to be kind of like going to, like an old drive-in movie. You've got your first show and then your second show. So the first show is going to be our student production called 10 Ways to Survive the Zombie Apocalypse. And that one is totally put on by students, designed, or it's not directed, but it's designed and acted in, and it's all Parkland students. Mm-hmm. And then our main stage production accompanying that is called Zombie Prom, and it's a musical. And so we're going to have special concessions that we're going to be offering for this show, and just trying to make it feel as much of that like creature double feature going to the drive-in movie as possible.
Awesome. So can community members participate in the shows, or if they're in the theater scene or they would want to do something like that? Yeah. Or how does all of that work? Parkland students versus community members. Who's in the shows? Who's on stage?
Yeah. So like I mentioned, so for our student shows, we do 2 of them a year, one in the fall, one in the spring. We do only offer that to Parkland students. You don't have to be a theater student per se. You can be any student across campus. Okay. And then our main stage productions are open to the community. You can be Parkland student, U of I student, you can be a community member, and we do have auditions coming up for our spring semester. December 1st is going to be auditions for Silent Sky, which is our student production, mm-hmm. and then December 2nd is going to be our open auditions for Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead. That's the first one in February, and then Little Shop of Horrors is our musical in April.
Oh, very cool. I bet you'll see a lot of auditions for that one as well.
I hope so. It's a much beloved musical, and I'm very excited to put it on.
Very good. And I think you and I, before we started filming, we were talking about some of the different roles in the theater, and so talking about stage management and directing, mm-hmm. and acting. So what are some of the roles that our students might take on to be part of Parkland College production?
Yeah, so our students have an opportunity to be involved in every aspect of the theater, especially with our student productions. We make sure that students have the opportunity to design, whether that be set, sound, costumes, props. They have the opportunity, of course, to act in the shows. They have the opportunity to stage manage. We have a student stage manager right now, mm-hmm. and then they also can assistant direct. We usually have a faculty or community member who comes in to direct those shows, but then offer mentorship to the students.
Oh, that's very exciting.
Yeah.
And so thinking about the shows that are coming up, what was the next date for community members to be able to come in and do that show?
So the next date, if they want to audition, is going to be December 2nd. We'll have more information up on our website, parkland.edu/auditions, mm-hmm. and that'll be coming out here at the beginning of November.
One of the things that I always hear about in the community for those that are frequenters of the Harold and Jean Miner Theater is just the quality of our productions here. And so can you give a little behind the scenes into what goes into, I know there's lots of different roles, but what goes into making sure that there is a high quality production for the community to come in and enjoy here at the college?
Well, we do a season selection kind of process where our theater director, Brian Morgan, collects ideas of shows to do for the next season and even the next season. You'd be surprised how far in advance we plan these seasons out. And we will oftentimes gather all of the staff together to talk about the pros and cons of the different shows. And, there's several things that we try to meet. We try to have family shows. We try to have challenging stuff for the students to do. And just, fun as well. Theater is fun. So as far as the quality that we want to give to the community, we take pride in what we do here at Parkland, and so of course having the backing of Parkland College to achieve all of these goals is just wonderful. And so we offer a lot for our students and community members here at Parkland Theatre.
That's great. And you talked about so family-friendly shows, and sometimes it's families that are coming, and sometimes it's school field trips and things like that that are coming to see the shows. So, thinking about the community engagement piece, why is that so important for Parkland, but then also for the theater to really be reaching out to younger audiences?
Well, I think, it gives families, there's always something to do in Champaign, and I feel like having something to do here at Parkland College for for families, for little ones, it's great to have that resource in your community to be able to go to and say, wow, look, here's maybe their first taste of Broadway, or, it's really gets the interest going in theater. And with all the opportunities that we have as far as being able to be involved backstage or on stage, I think it's just a great stepping stone for families to be able to say, hey, look, here's something you could be doing either as a career or even as just a hobby when you grow up. So I think having this resource in our community is really important.
And how does it connect to some of our academic offerings that students might enroll in? What does that look like from an academic perspective, if that might be a career?
Yes, so we do have a certificate in entertainment technology, so our students can immediately join the workforce if they're going for that entertainment technology certificate. And that can be anywhere from, acting to, we had somebody get a position with WCIA right out of here, so and then we've also have an acting track and a tech track, which would then be transferable to four-year institutions.
That's excellent. So you can pursue it as a hobby or a career
Exactly.
Here at the college. Well, HeatherAnn, thank you so much. Is there anything else that you would want to share with our viewers that they should know about the Harold and Jean Minor Theater, or anything else that's coming up that would be of interest?
I pretty much told you all about the season, and we will be announcing the next season in the spring. So keep an eye out on social media for that.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
All right. We'll go ahead and take a break. And when we come back, we'll talk with Chris Foster, who is the director of Parkland College Television.
My philosophy with the program is that I prepare students one of two ways, either to get a job or to transfer to a big four-year school. We are all about custom fabrication. That's what we do. We engineer and we build new things for every single show. And so that directly ties in with manufacturing. So a lot of our core classes in our entertainment technology program are actually taught over an engineering science wing. So a lot of the skills that you actually put into theater are universal for other jobs out in the marketplace. I think the most exciting thing about our program is the fact that we are newer, we're growing, we're fully supported, we have excellent technology that you would find in most four-year large schools. We're very fortunate that we have that here in a two-year institution. We really set our students up to know exactly what to expect going forward. And we prep our students to be employable and marketable in this workplace.
And my second guest today is actually a very special second guest, Chris Foster from Parkland College Television. Welcome, Chris.
Thanks for having me.
So the funny thing about you being a guest today is that most of the time for this show, you're actually behind the cameras, orchestrating everything that's happening here at the TV station.
Yes, absolutely. I'm hoping that I've done my job well here early in the semester and that nothing bad is happening back there right now.
So what you can't see is that there are students here running all of the different cameras and lights, and all of the different production of the show is happening on your watch, under your guidance and expertise. So can you share a little bit about your role here at Parkland and what the breadth of things that PCTV is really engaged with on campus?
Sure. We're pretty multifaceted. We have our own TV station, PCTV. So we produce content like the Parkland Report and some other programming for the channel. We do like events, sports, commencement, do a show with the art gallery. And we're building content to put on that channel, and that's on all the local cable outlets, and we stream it on our website. But then we're an instructional space, so the students use it to learn how to do television production. But then we also just do anything really video for the college, instructional videos, promotional videos, stuff for the website, anything that you can really think of.
Yeah, if there's a major college event, you guys tend to be there to document the day and to make sure that that we have it on video. What are some of the courses? So what course are these students taking who are working on the show?
So this is COM 144, Video Production 1. It's mainly studio-based, so really the first 2/3 of the semester, they're here in the studio learning how to do all the behind-the-scenes stuff, but they also have to produce their own shows, write their own shows, and host their own shows. So they're learning in front of the camera as well, even though some of them don't like that. And then we have COM 145, which is Video Production 2, and that focuses more on the field production side, so taking cameras outside the classroom, and we really dig into editing. We get into that at the tail end of 144, but then 145 is really, you're doing like PSAs, movie trailers, documentary, short films, that kind of stuff.
So in terms of careers, we were just talking before we started recording about your career journey and some stops you made along the way.
Yeah.
So you can share that with the students, but could you share it with our viewers too?
I came to Parkland as a student, and then I went to Eastern Illinois, got my bachelor's and master's there. I worked there for a little bit, and then my first real job was Channel 3. I was there for about 3 years as a news videographer. And then from there I went to City of Urbana, and I was in charge of Urbana Public Television for about 6.5 years, and then I came here. I've been here running PCTV for 16 years now.
That's amazing. Yeah. But you've walked in their shoes.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm proud of that. I always tell them, hey, I went to Parkland. It worked out great for me, and and I feel like that's actually good because I can kind of help them, show that I took that path and that you can be successful, no matter what path you take. But it's kind of like I took the same path that you're taking. So
that's amazing. One of the things that that I've noticed, so from a communicator type lens, is that more and more the way we communicate is more and more visual. So how has the industry changed, I guess, since you've been at Parkland, but even throughout your career in terms of the demand for someone with video production and editing skills?
Oh, I mean, obviously, when I first started, we were doing mostly analog editing, which was just like, tape to tape stuff. And there was digital editing at that time, but it was really kind of reserved for special projects or longer projects. But now everything is digital editing, that you do on a computer. So that's definitely changed. And just the nature of, cameras, I was shooting on tapes. Now we're shooting on memory cards. Obviously the quality, everything's HD, 4K now. And just like the way people watch things, it was starting to do that before I came to Parkland, but it's just, with TikTok and YouTube and websites and everything, there's just so many different ways that people can see video now. For before that, there was only just like a few ways.
One of the things that that I've noticed over the years is that you in particular, PCTV as an entity, but you in particular are involved in lots of different sort of monumental events for the college. So, and I didn't prep you on this in advance, so we'll just ask on the fly. But what are some of your favorite kind of moments at Parkland you've been a part of? Because PCTV and produces videos that are part of other events or is recording them. What are some of your favorite things to be involved with around the college?
Sure. I mean, of course, commencement is always one of the main highlights of the year. And that's actually changed quite a bit in my time here. When I first came here, we had an actual production company that was doing commencement. And then we were there. I was behind the scenes helping with like closed captioning things and stuff like that. But we now produce that ourselves. We set up the equipment, take all of our own equipment, still make sure that the captioning and stuff's going well. So, but yeah, that's always, of course, one of the highlights, and it's fun sitting there directing the ceremony, but actually seeing my students walk across the stage at the same time. So that's nice. But Entrepreneur of the Year is always a fun one. Dr. Ramage's retirement celebration, that was a fun one.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had several groundbreakings and stuff. So we try to do some sports when we can. So there's a lot of things going on here, and it's fun to be able to try to showcase that to the community.
That's awesome. You guys have recently done some upgrades to the studio. I know that our viewers, maybe we could get some B-roll later and stitch it in here. But what are some of the upgrades that you've done recently? I know that there was some equipment funds available. So.
Sure. Yeah. You may not notice at home, but this little news desk thing is a new thing that we got, and actually has like 4 configurations, so you can build 4 different desks with it. We got new lights. New curtains, which we have a different backdrop for this, so you don't really see the curtains, but we got new studio curtains in the background, got a new soundboard. And even before that, in recent years, we've got some things that are really beneficial for the experience here, and kind of helps the real world for the students. We used to have 1 teleprompter, but we have prompters on all 3 cameras now. The studio pedestals that all the cameras are on, we used to have 3 different ones, and each one was different for each camera, but now we have 3 that are the same and more consistent. And so yeah, we've made some good upgrades, and I think it's really good for the students.
That's great. One thing I know that you've been involved with over time is also youth opportunities in the summers. What does that look like over the years? What do those students get to try out? It's usually their first taste of Parkland when they come. So.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's college for kids, and to be honest, I mean, obviously not as advanced, but it's similar to 144. I mean, I pretty much like the first day, show them how to do everything, and then I have them start, writing their own shows, and then the next day they perform them, and then so we do they interview each other first, and then they do infomercials, and they do talk shows, and then on the last day we do a Jeopardy style game show. Fun. So we have prep days in between, and then the next day we just and it's, obviously there's, crazy things going on, and, I'm always trying to make sure it doesn't go too haywire, but yeah, I've been doing that about as long as I've been here too. And it's always interesting. It's a different group of kids every time, and they're responsible for the content. So even though the class necessarily hasn't changed, it's always different because different kids, and they come up with their own ideas. So you never know what they're going to come up with.
That's great. Yeah. Well, Chris, is there anything else that you would want to add that you would want our viewers to know about PCTV, or about what goes into what they're viewing on TV or online?
I guess, I talk a little bit more about PCTV, I guess. So we produce the content for the channel. Like we said, this Parkland Report. We try to do 4 to 6 of these a semester. So we try to get different guests from throughout the college and come and do those. We have a show called For Art's Sake, and basically we just filmed one last week, but when there's an artist who visits the campus to talk about their show in the art gallery, we'll go and basically let them walk around the gallery, talk about their work, and then we get footage and also get still images, and then we edit that together into a show. We do events, like I said. We try to do some sports, mainly basketball, stuff in the gym's easier. We've done some soccer in the past. We do some baseball and softball if we can. We'll even do some theater stuff if possible. Most of the time we get hit on copyright with the theater, but sometimes they'll do a show that, some of the older Shakespeare stuff, like they did Much Ado About Nothing, and I can't remember the other one they just did, but we're able to do some of those. So we try to branch out and get as much content as we can for the channel. And then we do have some satellite feeds like NASA TV and DW TV that we use to supplement our programming. Otherwise, like I said, we're really kind of all over the college. We're streaming. We've been trying to work on streaming stuff live. We streamed a basketball game live last year. And we try to involve the students as much as we can. We do concerts. That's something I didn't mention. We try to do some of the concerts that they put on here. So we film those and put them on the channel as well. So.
Lots of diverse content.
Absolutely.
Because a lot is happening here.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, thanks on a personal level. Thank you for all that you do. He coordinates the guests and just makes sure everything runs smoothly, and makes it a fun experience for me to come and just be a very small part of what's happening here at PCTV. So thank you for that.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
All right, well, that's it for today's show. We've heard from the Harold and Jean Minor Theater and our friends here at PCTV that are making all of this happen. So we hope you will join us on the Parkland Report next time.